Most people do not have a money problem. Most people have a mindfulness problem. You can make as much money as you want, but if you're not mindful and aware of your money, then it's going to elude you all the time. Because most of us, the way we spend our money is we're emotional about money. Money is emotional for us. We're unconscious of the way we spend our money. And when we're unconscious of the way we spend our money, we don't know where we're spending it on, and we're reactive towards it. And the thing is, most of these behaviors are inherited from when we were younger and inherited from our belief systems. And if you're not aware and mindful of the way you spend money, you are going to not know where your money's going. And you can make all the money in the world. You can make $1 million a year. But if you have certain belief systems that make you think that you will never get ahead, you'll find ways to spend that money and you'll be broke even making $1 million a year. You could be broke making $1 million a year, and you could be broke making $50,000 a year. You could be rich making $1 million a year, and you can also be rich making $50,000 a year. And mindfulness around money is noticing your behaviors and your patterns. And part of that is why we speak about going on a budget, is because then you're going to understand where your money's going. If you don't know where your money's going and you don't understand how you spend your money, then it will always elude you. And you should not be too hard on yourself either about this, because a lot of people don't want to face reality. And because of that, a lot of people will be scared about looking into their finances and being like, I can't believe I spend that much money. I just had my parents recently, they went and got a financial advisor, and they realized how much money they spent on going out to eat every month. And my mom was very upset about it. And I felt the same way when I put myself on a budget. I was like, there is no way I spend that much every single month going out to eat. I was spending $800 a month going out to eat. And I know a lot of us spend a lot of money on things that we don't want to think about. But the thing is, most of it is unconscious. And that's the thing. It's unconscious. But once you're mindful and you're aware of that money and how you're spending that money and where that money's going, that's when you can truly tune in to how you're going to spend your money. And then you can spend your money a lot more wiser, and you can tackle that problem, because everything's unconscious until you're aware of it, because that's the way our mind works. Our mind goes on autopilot because there's so many things going on every single day. Our mind can't pay attention to every single thing. So that's why it goes unconscious. That's why when you spend money, it's unconscious. That's why when you go to a dealership and you're like, I want that car. I can afford the monthly payment. Give me that car. That's an unconscious spend. And meanwhile, it's like you just bought a $50,000 car that you're going to have payments on for the next 7 years. But you didn't think about that because your mind's just like, I want that car. I want to have it. That's awesome. Great. But you didn't realize is you just put yourself in a 7-year commitment with, with interest that ends up costing you probably around right now, probably about $7,000 on top of that, $50,000 that you spent. And you don't think about that because we're not trained to think about that. We don't think about those things. And that's very normal. You have to be educated in this field to really understand that. And because of that, a lot of people take advantage of you. And, since people take advantage of you like that, and you got so many credit card companies and so much banks that want to get you into debt, you don't think about this because there's not enough people in your face making content like I am. I mean, now there's a lot more people in this space because we need it. People need it. And people are looking for it. That's why we exist. But again, until you're aware of it and you actually discipline yourself and be like, I don't want to be broke my whole life. Something's going on and I want to fix this. And that's mindfulness. That's being in the present moment. When you're budgeting, you're in the present moment. The only time you can truly fix yourself and fix these problems that you have financially is when you're in the present moment. But the thing is, a lot of us, we get emotional about it because we don't want to look at the fact that, we're in a pretty bad position sometimes with finances because it makes us feel bad. And I know a lot of friends like that, and they won't even talk about it. I have friends where they're like, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. And that's fine. But if you don't think about it and you don't talk about it, you're just kicking the can down the road. At some point in time, the can will come back and you're going to have to deal with it. So it's much better that you deal with it now and you realize, hey, I don't have to be broke my whole life. I don't have to use debt my whole life because I spend too much, because I'm not mindful. I need to really sit down and go over my budget. I need to sit down and be like, why do I spend this money? And the other thing is, when you're spending money, most of it's emotional. So you always got to ask yourself, before you spend money, sit back and don't just instantly buy something on Amazon. Before you buy something on Amazon, sit back and be like, do I really need this? Or keep it in your shopping cart for 2 days. And after 2 days, be like, do I really need this? Because most of our purchasing habits is instant. We're just like, I want this, great idea, let me buy it. And you don't think about it. But once you start being more mindful and you're like, okay, give me 2 days and let me figure out if I actually need this after those 2 days. Or if you're buying something that you might not necessarily need and you might have something similar like that in your house, then just use the item that you have in your house for now, or altogether, you might not even need that item. You should be asking yourself, am I buying this out of alignment or am I buying this out of lack? A lot of times we buy things because we're in the feeling of lack. And buying that will give us that nice dopamine hit, right? It's like, I'm not feeling that great today. Let me go shopping. Let me go on Amazon. It's so easy to go on Amazon and go and buy something. Even if it's something you feel like you need, you might not necessarily need it. It's more of your behavior being like, I just want to go shopping because it makes me feel good. Haven't you noticed every single time you go on Amazon and you buy something, you feel really good? That's dopamine. That's going on in your brain. And you need to find ways to give yourself that dopamine hit without having to go and buy things. So maybe go and buy all the things that you want to buy, but don't actually buy it. Just keep it in your basket and then come back a couple days later and be like, I'm proud of myself for not buying those things that I really wanted to buy. And that'll actually give you a long-term, better dopamine hit than instantly buying something and getting that instant gratification. Because building wealth long-term is not instant gratification. It's delayed gratification. That's how you truly build wealth, is delayed gratification. Everything you want in life that's truly worth it is usually delayed gratification. Everything that's instant gratification usually comes with side effects. There's plenty of things that you can think about right now. And like when you go and buy a whole bunch of stuff that you want, you're like, oh, well, I got to make more money this week. Everything I just bought this week, it took me 30 hours of work to make that. What if you just bought half the amount? Then you didn't have to work as much. And now you can save more money. Now you can invest more money. What I want you guys to do this week is you need to also have visualization. And the reason I'm also talking about finances and money is because too many people talk about visualizing, and I'm not saying not to, I'm talking about doing it, but they don't give you actual, like step-by-step ways of gradually making money and investing and growing money. Because you could visualize all day long, right? And the visualization will bring people, places, and events in your life that'll help you, like me, talking to you about finances and how it works, right? But a lot of people might not understand that, and they might visualize having all this money, but it's like, okay, so what happens when you get that money? If you get that money and you just spend it on stuff that you've wanted to spend it on, you just gave yourself a giant dopamine hit. You didn't invest any of it, and you'll end up being broke. You could win $1 million in the lottery, and you could be broke in the next year if you don't understand money, understand how it works, and invest so much of it. You'll end up going and buying that house, buying that brand new car you always wanted, and then next thing you know, look, you have no money left. So I want you guys to do this every day. Is after you look at your budget and you put yourself on a budget and you look at your finances, I want you to visualize having money in the bank. I want you to visualize more money coming to you. I don't want you to be in that lack state. And that's very easy to get in that when you put yourself on a budget. But once you put yourself on a budget, you're guaranteeing yourself long-term wealth. You're guaranteeing yourself wealth. You will be rich. It is a guarantee. If you put yourself on a budget and you know where every single one of your dollars is going, you will be rich. That is a fact. It will happen. And once you do that, that is the true inspiration that will help you be like, okay, now don't focus on debt. Don't focus on not spending money. I want you to focus on being abundant. I want you to focus and visualize money coming to you. I want you to focus on, I'm going to make $100,000 this year. Focus on the things you do want, because now when you got the basics set up, now you can focus on making that money. You can focus on visualizing making $100,000 this year, or whatever your number is. And then that will bring people, places, and events into your life that will get you to that point. But now you also have a structure in place where when that money does come to you, you know exactly what you need to do. You're not going to drop and spend all that money because you want those dopamine hits, and you're going to build wealth and you're going to be rich. Appreciate you guys checking out this video. I want you guys to comment below mindfulness. Comment below mindfulness, and welcome back to Luxona, where millionaires are made.